Yankees, ranked 5th by me, 4th by Fangraph. They had the biggest move of the offseason, trading for Juan Soto, and they can still sign a guy like Snell or Montgomery. I doubt Montgomery's going to want to go back, but they can still sign Blake Snell. Another interesting thing is Garrett Cole is injured, but let's talk about they want to win the World Series, but they are not one of the few teams that if they don't win the World Series, the season is a horrible season. They want to make it to the ALCS. They also really want to win the World Series because they're the Yankees. But I don't think it's a failure of a season if they, let's say, go to the World Series and lose in 7 games. Their big addition was Juan Soto via trade. They also added Trent Grisham in that trade. They also traded for Alex Verdugo, Caleb Ferguson as well, who's a solid left-handed left-handed pitcher. They also signed Marcus Stroman, who's a really solid starting pitcher. And they lost Frankie Montas, who's not that big of a deal. They lost Luis Severino. They lost Kenyon Middleton, Isaiah Kiner-Falefa, and Wandy Peralta, but not really too big of a deal there. They traded away Michael King, who was a pretty good piece of the team last year, but not anything too insane. They also traded away Drew Thorpe to the Padres. They also brought in Jordan Groshans through waivers, who had been a top prospect before. The rotation, Garrett Cole, in my opinion, is the best pitcher in baseball. The question right now is he going to be healthy? And I'm worried about his health. I'm worried he's not going to be healthy at all. But I think I'm living under the assumption he's going to be back at the beginning of June and just be the Garrett Cole he's always been. And also that for the playoffs, during my playoff predictions later on, Garrett Cole is very good, and them missing out on him for a while is going to hurt. But Carlos Rodon has looked really good in spring training. He sucked last year, but that's because he wasn't healthy. I think if he stays healthy, he's at least top 10 in Cy Young, at least a top 10 type of guy, Cy Young wise, as long as he stays healthy. I think he's really good. Nestor Cortez, I think, is going to bounce back. Marcus Stroman's really good as well. And I think Clark Schmidt showed some signs of being pretty solid a year ago. And then Clayton Beeter is kind of like he's a throw-in, he's the 5th guy. But there's Will Warren and Chase Hampton, who can get up to the big leagues at some point this season. The hope is that Garrett Cole comes back soon. You really are hoping for that because you don't want to go the whole season without him. I think if Garrett Cole's hurt the whole year, you're in a bad spot. But I'm assuming they're telling the truth. Garrett Cole's going to be back in June, and everything's all as well. That ends well. I think Rodon's going to be an ace. Cortez and Stroman are going to be good 2, 3. Clark Schmidt's going to be a solid 4. And I don't know if Clayton Beeter's actually going to be the 5 starter when the year starts, but that's who it is according to Fangraphs. The catcher, Jose Trevino, I think is going to lose the starting catcher spot to Austin Wells. Austin Wells is a much better hitter, and I think by season's end, it's going to be like, Trevino, we love what you've done for us, but you're going to be either a backup or be gone, because Austin Wells is a solid hitter. At first base, you got Anthony Rizzo, who, okay, I don't know that he would surprise people if he bounces back, but he had a really good start to the year, and then he was playing with a concussion for 2 months. And the ball was blurry, he had blurry vision, all that, it's not fun stuff. That's the reason why he struggled last year. I think he's going to come back, not have a concussion, hopefully not have any long-lasting effects from that concussion that he played through, and I think he's going to bounce back and be really good. Second base, Gleyber Torres, he changed his approach. He used to be this big strikeout guy, and this year he had a low strikeout rate. I think he's going to combine that with some power, be a 30 home run guy. I think he's going to be one of, if not the best second baseman in baseball next year. I think Gleyber Torres is going to have a really, really strong year at 27 years old. At third base, you got DJ LeMahieu. I think he's just old. He's 35. He's going to turn 36 during the season, I'm pretty sure. He's DJ LeMahieu. I think he's going to be like at least a 700 OPS guy, have a fairly high batting average, but I just don't trust DJ LeMahieu that much. And at shortstop, Anthony Volpe, I think, is going to have a stronger year than he had last year. I think defensively he's solid. He's got good speed, steals a lot of bases. I just think you got to figure it out offensively, and I think he's going to. He's just very young. Playing in the New York market's difficult. It's going to be a solid season, I think, for him. And then you have Oswald Peraza, who's also there, potentially playing third base whenever he gets healthy. As Oswald Peraza had a strained shoulder, he should be healthy, being the backup shortstop / third baseman, with Oswaldo Cabrera kind of just playing everywhere. But Oswald Peraza, I think, will be the starting third baseman by midseason, where LeMahieu is just going to be, like, old and struggling. Left field's supposed to be Alex Verdugo. Was solid with an OPS in the mid-sevens last year, I'm pretty sure. He is a solid hitter. He's not great, but he's a solid hitter, and he's going to be, instead of being on the top end of the lineup, he's going to be on the back of the lineup, and the lineup's going to be so good surrounding him, he's going to be one of the guys getting pitches to hit. I think he'll be very good in New York. Judge is supposed to be in center field with some Trent Grisham in center field as well. Potentially Grisham comes in center. Judge moves to right. Soto comes out for defensive replacement at the end of games. Judge in center is interesting. I'm really worried about, is his body going to hold up? Another thing is Jason Dominguez should be back in July, potentially. I think he got Tommy John surgery, tore his UCL, and he's not even a pitcher. And since he's an outfielder, he can't really come back like Bryce Harper did. I can see Dominguez being back in July, August, because you're not a pitcher. You don't have the same rehab. In which case, Judge moves to right, Soto moves over to left, and then Verdugo's more of the fourth outfielder, depending on how he performs, depending on how Trent Grisham performs. And Juan Soto, another guy, him and Judge are going to be an insane duo at the top of that lineup. Soto is going to be an MVP candidate. Judge is going to be an MVP candidate. It is crazy to see how this is going to go. I think Aaron Judge is a beast and Juan Soto is a beast, and both of them at the top of the lineup is unfair. Stanton, I'm worried about him because he's injury prone, but he lost weight specifically to stop injuries. But sometimes losing weight can make it where you don't hit the ball as hard, and that could affect Giancarlo Stanton. I don't think it will, but it could. I have the Yankees winning 8 more games. I have them winning 90 games, going 90-72. My over-under and Vegas' over-under are 91.5. I would bet the under on 91.5, especially since the Garrett Cole injury.